Hello, Buckaroo Banzai?
You a messenger? What you got here?
No, wait a minute. I need to see Buckaroo Banzai in person. My name is John Parker. Identify yourself, nah?
Blue Blaze Irregular, Pinky Carruthers. Sorry, John, everybody needs see Buckaroo. Later.
Hello, cadets. Welcome to another episode of the Big Monster Briefing Room. This episode 129. We are going to be talking about the 2010 version of The Wolfman, starring Benicio del Toro. I like to say it like that. Benicio del Toro. And as Lawrence Talbot, and Anthony Hopkins as his father. They don't look anything alike. Anyway, let me bring up my able-bodied assistants, Master Sergeant Havoc and Major Hazzard.
It's a pleasure to serve here with the Cocaine Bear. We all get trembling in our boots as we're watching that opening, but it's all right.
I just love the fact that the Chris Sarandon vampire just loves the fact that kid got clobbered by the bear. He's just so happy about that.
And it goes on like a second too long. It's like I pee my pants every time we start the show now.
You pee your pants at Chris Sarandon? Really?
It's terrifying. It's
He's doing a cooking show now.
It's terrifying.
All right. Well, we're here to talk werewolves, and you know what that means. That means we got one of our favorite guests who comes on the show, Alan Hops, the creature creator himself. There he is, got his Wolfman shirt on.
That's right. I have my Wolfman gear. I'm ready.
Well, actually, I brought something special for this show as well. Billy Bob sells werewolf teeth. So, fun at parties.
A palate only a mother could love.
There you go. See, he said it before I got to it.
I appreciate that, Alan. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's her favorite line from the show. If I don't say it, she gets all over me.
I see. Got it.
Yeah. So he said it before I even got to it.
And you can pass for a relative in Alabama.
I know he would know this. Is there a redneck werewolf movie out there somewhere?
Do you mean Bubba the Redneck Werewolf?
There's
Absolutely.
a movie called Bubba the Redneck Werewolf.
And I really enjoy it.
Okay,
Yeah.
We're going to have to do that one on the show then.
Absolutely. Have you done Wolf Cop also? There's a lot of rednecks in it.
Wolf Cop. Let me take some notes.
Have you not? Oh, Wolf Cop is amazing. Yeah, the second one's a little sketchy. Yeah.
Bubba the Redneck Werewolf?
Yes.
And Wolf Cop.
Wolf Cop.
I got Wolf Cop.
Wolf Cop is excellent.
Ain't that one of them trauma movies or trauma? Not trauma.
Trauma. Both of these are better funded than they have any right to be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you that they are fun. They're not good, but they are fun.
Okay. They're fun.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Well, those are usually fun to do on the show too. So we will definitely set that up for the next season or two. Doing a lot of vampire stuff this season. So anyway, let's talk about how this movie came about. Universal Studios, of course, is well known for their Universal movies from the 40s, the 30s, and the 40s, the monster movies, Frankenstein, Dracula, the
Those
Wolfman.
movies saved them.
Yeah,
Saved the studio.
when they re-released them.
Well, yeah, again, saved them twice.
So, modern day Universal decided to upgrade, to reboot, and it didn't quite work out the way they would hoped. Now, I know for a fact that this movie, this particular training film, is kind of on the violent side. There's kind of a lot of graphic gore in it. And by the way, there is pictures of violent graphic gore on this show, folks. So, viewer discretion.
Oh, a trigger warning. I love trigger warnings. That's great.
So, so it's coming in the timeline. So, all right. Again, this show is not for kiddies. So viewer discretion is advised. So, all right, let's, they didn't start with the Wolfman. They started with The Mummy, right? The second reboot of The Mummy with Tom Cruise.
Yep.
And that wasn't a good plan, evidently.
Nope.
Because, Tom Cruise is very expensive and he has a tendency to take control and do it his way. And
in my opinion, the monster should be the star.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to start a franchise, you can't have a $30-40 million a movie person that you're going to get for 10 films. That just doesn't make any sense. So it's missed opportunity. But I hope it'll, you know what, if I've learned anything, it'll come around again. I have no doubt there will eventually be a nice reboot of the Universal Monster franchise. It just takes a while.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hope so.
I liked I liked Sofia Boutella as the mummy in the second movie. I thought it was nice, had a female mummy, but overall it was basically it became a Tom Cruise movie, and that just kind of ruined it.
It became Mission Impossible Mummy.
Well, and they also angled it as an action movie, not a horror movie.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I haven't seen it. The reviews have been so bad. I just refuse to go see it. So, but I'm sure I will view it sometime. And I've got notes to look up Bubba the Redneck Werewolf and Wolf Cop until then.
It could have been worse. The Mummy could have been worse.
Okay. All right. Because I've seen some bad mummy movies.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of bad mummy movies out there. And we will have them on the show with Pan Orea as our guest. She's our mummy expert. All right, let's get into our timeline. There's actually a really good cast in this film. You've got Emily Blunt, Anthony Hopkins, Art Malik from The Jewel and the Crown and The Living Daylights, playing Singh. Geraldine Chaplin is in this as Maliva, the gypsy. That's Charlie Chaplin's kid. So the movie starts out with the old, even a man who is pure at heart says his prayers by night, poem from the original film. And then we cut into a scene where, there is a guy out there on the full moon in the woods for some unknown reason. And he is being stalked by a wolfman. Is there a difference? I think we've talked about this before on the show. Is there a difference between a werewolf and a wolfman?
Yes.
Okay.
A werewolf has a snout.
Okay.
A wolfman does not.
All right.
And also a wolfman is cursed, and a werewolf sees it as a blessing.
Okay. All right.
A werewolf, it's a positive. Now, those get mixed up sometimes, but normally if they are an evil entity who is a bad person who wants to do bad things, they're a werewolf. They're a wolfman. They're a werewolf, not a wolfman.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you were bit and you're cursed or it happened by accident, then you would be a wolfman.
So they are more wolf-like.
Yeah,
they embrace it.
Though, if you want to go to lore, I could just see this is the danger is I can talk a lot. If you want to go into lore,
it's okay. They like it when you talk.
Werewolves were in, France, England, Europe. Normally they were attributed as criminals who were running from people who were trying to bring them to justice, i.e. kill them. And in the forest, they would meet a dark man who made them a deal and would give them a wolf skin. If you don this wolf skin, you can turn into a wolf and elude your pursuers. And the deal was they gave up their soul and they got the wolf skin. So,
aha.
And there was actually a turn into a werewolf potion salve. It was that they actually were able to analyze the jar, and it had nightshade in it, and it had other mind-altering substances that could attribute to making them feel as if they were a werewolf, make them feel like they had the heightened senses. So there's a lot of real neat werewolf history stuff.
That is neat.
But I'll poke in as it makes sense.
Okay. And it's funny you say that, because we have a character played by Hugo Weaving in this, play Aberlane, who is the constable who's chasing after the lycanthrope, the what he thinks is just an insane, crazy killer at first, and then he sees for firsthand that no, there's more to it than that. Okay, so we find out later that this is he is a Talbot. He is. Is
it John Talbot?
Sir
Ben.
John Talbot is the father.
Ben.
Ben.
Yeah. Ben Talbot is this brother of Lawrence, and he's out in the woods and he's being stalked, and a werewolf, a wolf man, is stalking him.
Now I want to say that shot of the claws, that was the poster, that was a DVD cover. That shot of from behind,
yes,
and that's a great shot. And
all the shots that lead up to this are pretty cool.
Seeing that hand and the claws and stuff, that got me really excited for the movie. And I actually really enjoyed this movie. I did enjoy it.
I did as well. Even though, again, it's really, it was more violent and graphic than I thought it would be. I did enjoy it very much. Again, I liked the creature effects created by Rick Baker in this. Very much.
I didn't like the transformation. I thought it was a very weak transformation. I think the final creatures are great.
Yes. Okay. You mean the thing with the hand cramp?
Yeah.
That was.
He's got the real bad carpal tunnel.
We'll get to that a little later. But yeah, the feet going up the steps there to the mausoleum. Again, it funnels right in to the beginning of this movie when Ben gets slaughtered. And we get just a brief, quick glimpse of this Wolfman that's attacking him. We don't get too much right away, and that's it. And then we have the Wolfman and the blood coming down the. Looks like a headstone. Buried here in the mausoleum, the Wolfman. So we go to a performance by Lawrence Talbot.
You know
doing
what?
a little Shakespeare.
I didn't even notice that edit before. You go from that tombstone to the back shot of these tombstones. That's a nice edit. That's good editing.
Yeah.
And he's being observed by Emily Blunt's character, Gwen Conliffe. And Emily Blunt is about to do the Fall Guy now with Ryan Gosling, and she looks fantastic. So she must be like early 30s. She must have been like 20 when she did this. Is my guess, or 18 even, maybe. Not quite sure, but she's probably very young in this.
So I want to just make a throwback note, because her introduction in this movie is her observing him through the glasses while he's on stage. And in the original, he saw her by looking through his dad's telescope.
Correct.
And he was a super creeper, by the way. Like,
yes, he was a
maybe don't do that, but
Tom. so
so
that's
it,
Universal trying to make things right.
yeah, it's nice that they kind of switched that up a little bit. Maybe he's not a peeping Tom, and she met him in a theater.
So the character's name is the same, Gwen Conliffe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right. Because I know Lawrence Talbot and Sir John Talbot are the same.
Yeah. Oh, and I looked it up. Emily Blunt is 41 right now.
Really? She looks great for 41. I gotta say.
Yep, she does. So she must have been in her 30s then.
Well, this was 2010.
Oh, that's
so 14 years. So she was late 20s.
Late 20s, yeah.
So, which is what she looks there.
I was told there would be no math, so I'm going to sit out this part of the debate. Yeah, I'm not a math
It's
guy.
not my strong suit either. It's not my strong suit either. So she goes to tell him that his brother has died. He's violent death, and he should come back home. And he doesn't want to go home because him and his dad don't get along very well. His mother died tragically, and he blames his father. And but he ends up going home. He thinks it over. First, he tells her, "Sorry, hit the door. Nice seeing you." And then he decides, probably because of her, that he's going to go. So he hops on a train. Nice shot of an old-timey train, probably CGI. and we get an interesting cameo here from Max von Sydow, who just plays an old guy on a train. And he's got the silver cane with the wolf, or the cane with the silver wolf head on it. And he offers it to him. And there's some question as to whether it was a dream or not, but the cane is there. You know, he leaves it. Talbot refuses. He says, "Oh, no, I can't accept that." And when he wakes up, the guy's gone and the cane is still there. So he takes the cane.
My headcanon is that he's Dracula.
Now, see, mine was that he was Van Helsing. I went the other way.
Interesting.
That it works either way.
And if there had been a universe, he would have been a sweet Van Helsing.
Yeah,
he would have actually.
Max von Sydow? Oh man, talk about a missed opportunity. Max von Sydow as Van Helsing.
The one guy that would have been a perfect Van Helsing that hadn't played him yet. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
We get nice carriage shots. Yeah, again, a lot of this movie, the sets, the props, the things in this movie remind me a lot of the Dracula from 1979. With even the music sounds kind of the same. With Frank Langella. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I got that same kind of feel. So yeah, very nicely done as far as the period.
Well, Danny Elfman did the music on this one.
Right. And I believe it was John Williams that did the music for the 79 Dracula.
Yeah.
But the themes are very similar. He might have been giving a nod as he created the music, or just stealing.
Maybe. You never know.
Just borrowing. So Talbot shows up. Lawrence shows up at the Talbot house, which is massive, and he finally faces off with his father. And his father is, I would think, better than he expected, as far as welcoming him. From basically, what we gathered, they really don't get along. But one interesting thing about is the tiger lapels on Hopkins.
That
jacket. I don't know why that stuck out with me, but it just like, wow, that's
because
kind of
it looks so terrible and so fake. I think it looks.
Is that what it was?
It looks like, well, we have this tiger bath mat that we could cut up and attach to this guy's robe. Well, let's just do that. It doesn't look good. It looks like an animal print. It doesn't look like it's part of a tiger, which they're selling that hunter persona,
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, yeah, like you say, there's all kind of heads and stuff around the house on the walls, and you know, but like you say, there's something about that print.
Yeah. Well, I think it's supposed to look kind of ratty, like he's had it for years and years. But yeah, it doesn't.
It read as very fake to me. It also leapt out at me as this is not good.
So, costume department, come on now.
You do better.
Right. So, yeah, dinner tonight, and you know, Miss Conliff will be here because I like her. And yeah, Lawrence feels uncomfortable. He feels awkward. And he meets up with Sin, played by Art Malik, who is his father's, I guess, butler, for lack of a better Batman, whatever they call him.
Steward, maybe? Steward?
He's the guy that keeps that big house clean. And it does look rather dusty, I got to admit. But anyway, in town, he's decided he wants to go see his brother's body. He has to kind of identify his brother's body, I guess. So he goes in, and yes, his brother's body is a mess.
Yep, that guy's dead.
It's
there's no coming back.
Weeks.
Yep, there's no coming back from that.
I got better.
And his reaction is, you know, so Benicio del Toro like. He has a very huge reaction to his, but again, it's his brother, and he's trying to react to, you know, that. So anyway,
some faces are just built to look sad, and he has one of those.
Yeah, true. So he goes back to the Talbot Hall, or no, he goes to the inn to get a drink,
to get pub.
Get a stiff one. And as he is there, he is looking at I guess it's like a St. Christopher kind of medal that his brother had in his final effects.
I do not know what saint that is.
Yeah. And the local old fogies are all talking about the Talbots. And he's like 2 tables over from them. And basically called his mom a whore. You know. And they're just mean. Conspiracy theorists. So he tells him what's what. Says, hey, you know, you're talking about my mom.
Yeah. Well, we got this guy. He starts talking about, you know, because they're all like blaming the gypsies. They're blaming the gypsies, and they got a bear, and he's like, 20 years ago, somebody got all ripped up. Tell you, it's a creature out there, you know.
Now, I don't remember thinking this at the time, but that really looks like the Hound from the HBO Dragon TV show a while ago.
Right.
Boy, that looks like him. I don't think that it is.
It's not, but yeah, he does have the same kind of look to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like a professional hunter from that area.
Mm-hmm.
And so he would know if there's some creature out there that's killing. But yes, there is a gypsy camp nearby, and they do have a bear, a performing bear, and they look like they should be at the Diogenes Club. But anyway, again, it's nice that Benicio del Toro calmly goes over to him and says, "Hey, F you."
Or they look like they Waldorf and the
Yeah.
Muppet. That's
Stadler.
what
I don't think it's
Yeah,
a werewolf.
Stadler
Do you?
Yeah, exactly.
Stadler and Waldorf. Yeah.
It's Stadler and Waldorf, named after famous hotels.
Yeah.
So again, dinner again is awkward. John Talbot is quite mad, I think. Because he wears that print.
Yeah.
They shoot barbs at each other. Unfortunately, Gwen is in the middle and she's not comfortable at all. And
Yeah. And they're serving her like eel or something.
Yeah.
Nasty looking thing. Like,
yeah,
wait,
Sin has a very special menu.
yeah. I'm like, all of a sudden it's Temple of Doom here.
Yes. Snake surprise.
Yeah.
Monkey's brains for dessert.
Chilled monkey brains.
So here's an interesting bit. The moon is full. It's large in the sky. You get the a spyglass from the first movie. They're looking at the moon through the spyglass, and Hopkins' character, John Talbot, is wearing special glasses so that he doesn't turn into a werewolf in front of his son. And again, I'm giving the spoiler right here and there. Hopkins is the werewolf that killed Ben. He did it because he was jealous because Ben and Gwen were getting a thing going, and he likes Gwen. So, because Benicio hasn't been bitten yet, obviously he's not going to turn into a werewolf, but John is wearing special glasses for that. He talks to Gwen. He's interested in her, as Ben was. I mean, who wouldn't be? He goes back to his room. He has some flashbacks about his mother's death.
And this stuff was all super creepy. I really liked the addition of this.
Yeah. I felt it was a little Bruce Wayne-ish, but yeah. It was interesting.
Now, did they de-age Anthony Hopkins for that, or was that like another actor when they show his face?
It's Hopkins.
Okay.
But I think I don't think they de-aged him digitally, but I think they did, some of the old tricks that Hollywood does, with the darker hair and
makeup and stuff. Yeah.
Dressing him younger, makeup. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's him. I like
He
the
looked
fact
good.
that he turned into a werewolf. He does look like an Anthony Hopkins werewolf. He looks like a Dr. Lecter werewolf.
Looks good.
So,
I'm all about gray-haired werewolves.
yes. So they go to the Ben's funeral. They have Ben's funeral. It's a closed casket. And he finds Gwen out in the woods and talks to her. And then he goes back to Talbot Hall and he talks to his father. And Hopkins, to me, seems to really be enjoying this character. Playing this character. He likes playing this really twisted bad character, this bad dad. The moon comes up again. And I'm guessing Hopkins has got his special glasses on. I'm sure John Talbot's got his special glasses on. He doesn't want to turn into a werewolf in front of somebody, and throw everything off. Lawrence goes out to the gypsy camp. He wants to find out, from them what they think is going on here and why Ben was killed. And he goes in, he sees Maleva, a gypsy, played by Geraldine Chaplin.
Mm-hmm.
As they are talking, something attacks, or no, people come from the town to cause trouble. That's what it is. First.
Yeah.
But as they show up, and there's the bear, the cocaine bear.
It's Cocaine Bear.
I'm curious. To me, it seems like it might be a CGI bear, but
That's a CGI bear.
That's a CGI bear. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Again, knowing that Rick Baker was attached to this, I had to
Yeah,
ask.
yeah. He could have. He probably could have
Yes,
made one, but no, that's definitely CGI.
That's the same bear actor who played Ted in the Ted movie.
there you go.
That's Seth MacFarlane.
So
No,
this
I didn't do it. Hey, it's not me. I'm not the guy.
the whole involving the bear in the original, there was a scene with a bear in the gypsy camp, and it was right after Talbot was bit, and they had the classic fight with the bear for a while, and he beats it to death. He beats the bear to death, and they took that out in editing because they thought it made him unsympathetic.
I was about to say I don't remember ever seeing that scene.
No, it was removed, but they shot the full scene of him beating a bear to death for the original Wolfman.
Wow.
Is that available? Like, can you look it up online, or is it just gone?
You can see stills from it, but
Okay.
I've never seen it moving. I've never seen it edited together.
Yeah. Because a lot of Lugosi's dialogue playing Frankenstein and Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman was excised out of the film, and it just doesn't survive anymore. You just can't find it. It's there's a guy on YouTube that reads the script, the original script, which I have, and he reads it, with the Igor voice, and he does a pretty good job, actually. I mean, I got to give him credit.
Yeah.
Gives you
It's like it's like when they cut out King Kong eating the natives in the 33 movie. Yeah.
Well, and the famous
that was a little too much.
Spiders and the centipedes and stuff, he killed
And
the
then
guy.
and then all that stuff. Yeah.
That was all excised out. You can't find that anymore. There are storyboard pictures, but you can't find that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I had heard somewhere, maybe 20 years ago, that they had put it back in the film, like when they put Frankenstein throwing Maria out on the lake back in, but
Yeet.
but evidently that didn't happen, because I have never seen that scene. And again, the scene that they created in Peter Jackson's King Kong. Wow.
Down in the muck with all the bugs. Is that the one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Andy Serkis getting his head shot, bitten by some kind of caterpillar or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the caterpillar just devours him, goes up and over and just devours him. Yeah, that stuck with me for a while.
Some weird slug. Yeah.
But we digress. Okay, so the bear's not happy about them, saying, "Hey, he did it." No, actually, the bear reacts because something is attacking the camp now. It's attacking these guys that have come into the camp to cause trouble, and it's running around the camp, clawing up people. And Benicio del Toro comes out. I should say Lawrence Talbot. I'm sorry. I keep doing that with Anthony Hopkins too. The guy, one of the guys that was the head of the party, is like this scaredy cat. He goes into this tent and he's shooting people through the tent. He thinks it's the monster and he's killing people. And then of course the werewolf pulls him through the tent and kills him. There it is.
The setup, the way that this was shot, I thought it was very good in showing just the werewolf silhouette moving past and between, because he's behind the ring of Vardos, and you just see him moving around behind them. It's very well shot, and it feels very much like there's a pack of wolves who are not attacking directly, but they're getting ready to. It's very much he's circling his prey, which I thought really added to the strength of the Wolfman in that.
Well, he clawed the one guy's back open. That was pretty direct. And then again,
but it was his back.
True.
Yeah.
So again, they're keeping it the werewolf itself. They're keeping it kind of they're not showing you a lot. They're showing claws. They're showing, it running between tents and things. And here is a really graphic scene where a police officer goes up to a you know how they say to you, if this van is a rockin', don't come a knockin'. There's a gypsy wagon that's like shaking back and forth like somebody's getting killed. And the policeman goes right up to the front door. All right, what have we got here? And again, he gets clawed, and a claw goes up to the bottom and up into his mouth. The two claws come out of his mouth. So anyway, there are kids running around, and Benicio del Toro is very heroic. He grabs a rifle and he's trying to shoot at the thing. The thing goes into, I guess Talbot Hall is close to Stonehenge.
There's a lot of sites all over
right.
England and the UK that are just called standing stones, and it's stones like this, and Stonehenge is of course a very famous one, but
right.
The standing stones are kind of dotted throughout, and some are little things like this, and some there's more. It might just be 4 or 5 of them, but these kind of sites are around, and
great for werewolves to leap on.
Absolutely.
So, very foggy suddenly. Again, a lot of suspense as Talbot goes into this, and he finds the kid and says, "Get the hell out of here." The kid runs. Again, there's a shot of him watching the werewolf run towards the kid. So he knows the kid's in danger. And, I mean, again, very heroic. Talbot is here. And he gets jumped by the werewolf, and the people that actually came to cause trouble end up shooting the werewolf and scaring it away. But it bites Talbot before they scare it away. And they take him in a horse cart back to Talbot Hall after they sew him up. Maleva is actually the one that sews him up. And there's some other gypsies going, "You should kill him. He's got the sign of the werewolf now." And all that. And Anthony Hopkins looks very pleased that his son has been bitten. Bring him in the house.
Well, he didn't seem as surprised as he should. This is before the big reveal.
Right.
But he just lost one son. He didn't really like this one, so it's probably not too bad.
So now he's sleeping for a long time, and he's hallucinating. And he hallucinates about a wolf boy coming on the edge of his bed, and Emily Blunt is there. Or, I'm sorry, Gwen is there. I do that a lot. And I think there's a fake out here, right? Is he awake? No, this is actually him awake. All right, so the scar from the wolf bite has healed tremendously in a short amount of time. We get this in a lot of werewolf movies. I was bitten by a wolf. Well, and there's hardly a scar there.
I think it's important to note that if someone has a wound that's a bite and it heals very quickly, just kill them. Off them. Off them. It's never good. Like, nothing good ever comes of that. So just take that person out. Like, that should be in your handbook of they were bit by something and it healed really fast. Just bump them off before they get powers.
There you go. Good advice. Okay. Excuse me. Sin comes to Talbot and gives him a box with stuff in it, and this is supposed to help protect him, I guess. And there's very little explanation. And then Aberline, Hugo Weaving's character, comes into town. He's here to find out about these killings at the gypsy camp. And there's a mass murderer in this town killing people. So he goes and he talks to Talbot. And he's not nice. He's a douchebag. Pretty much he hates him the minute he starts talking. I hate werewolves. They smell. No, that's the other movie. So we have a nice little scene between Gwen and Lawrence, skipping stones on a lake and being nice to each other, and they're growing friendlier and friendlier together. And then the townspeople show up. We're taking Talbot away. We think he's a werewolf. And this guy, this is where I was going to say a face that only a mother could love. Not the werewolf, but this guy.
He does have a squid kissing parson face, that's for sure.
Oh man. There are actors who just have faces that you just go, okay, horror movie. gotta give this guy a character in the horror movie. This guy destined to be in horror movies. So they take him, they try to take him, and surprisingly, Sir John steps in and threatens to shoot them.
He wasn't done with his torture yet, so he couldn't let him be taken. And if he was taken and observed, would that have somehow outed John?
Perhaps. But there's a scene later where he does let them take him. So okay, yeah.
Well, he hasn't turned yet, so that might be why.
That's true. He had blood all over him when they came back. So they, but Lawrence senses that there's something wrong with him, and he's worried for Gwen. He says, "Get the hell out of here! Because I care about you. I want you to leave." And she goes. And they set up a nice little deer trap to try to catch in some ruins to try to catch the werewolf, the monster, whatever it is. They're pretty sure it's a werewolf now. And they're talking about it back at the pub. And Aberline is not convinced it's a werewolf. He just thinks that Lawrence is crazy and he's killing people. So the moon comes out that night, the full moon. The people in the town, again, are convinced that the werewolf is going to come out tonight. Aberline, not so much.
But he's hanging out in the pub, which is central, just in case.
Just in case something does go awry. He's close.
He's on watch.
So in the crypt, Sir John Talbot kind of fakes out his son Lawrence. He lures him to the crypt because he knows that Lawrence is watching him. Not sure why, but he knows Lawrence is watching. So Lawrence goes down to the crypt following his father, and they have a little talk in the crypt, and then Sir John locks him in the crypt and says, "You got a long night ahead of you." And this is where he first turns into the Wolfman.
And this quickie transformation, what we see of it, it's much better than the feature one later in the movie.
In full light.
Yeah.
In the insane asylum.
Yeah. So I have a rather unpopular but a favorite Wolfman transformation.
Okay.
Probably American Werewolf in London is most people's best known and favorite. Howling is probably right up there as a second. My favorite's actually in the movie Monster Squad.
Okay.
Because he changes from man on the phone into a wolf man in 5 seconds in a phone booth. It's and then the wolf man jumps out of the phone booth. Like that's the whole transformation. And if it's happening, I think it's happening like that.
Very fast.
Yeah, because it looks so painful the other way, and I don't see that being the way that it's supposed to go.
What are the vampire movies? They have werewolves in them all through them, though. But what?
Underworld.
Is it Underworld?
Underworld.
There's like 4 of them. Yeah,
With
and it's
Kate
mostly about
Beckinsale?
vampires. Yes.
Kate Beckinsale. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Underworld.
those are pretty quick. And again, it's painless.
Very
it doesn't
fluid.
look like. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're in a lot of pain when they
Very fluid changes. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's,
all right.
They've been doing it for centuries or whatever, so that they're used to it now.
They got it worked out to a science.
It's like there you go.
Okay, I'm wearing my special clothes that will transform with me, and spandex, spandex and leather. All right, so they hear a huge wolf howl, which pretty much signals that most people were right about the werewolf thing, or it could be just a big wolf. But Aberline comes out because of that, and the people are unready. But they're not ready for this, obviously. A lot of these people that we have come to not like in this film get killed by Benicio del Toro as a Wolfman. He's got a vest on in this and a nice furry shirt. And, I've got a slide coming up here. And I picked the wrong slide.
Uh-oh.
There it is. This is the werewolf from the Groovy Ghoulies.
Groovy Ghoulies, yep.
But there was a Saturday morning TV show called The Monster Squad. I just realized that that's the look with the vest and the white puffy sleeves.
Monster Force?
Monster Squad.
Monster Squad, not Monster Force?
Correct.
Okay.
Because there was the Ghostbusters, and then we had Ghostbusters later, and then we had Monster Squad, which had Fred Grandy, who went on to do The Love Boat, as your purser or whatever, and he was the head of the Monster Squad. And then we had the movie The Monster Squad that came out later. So evidently they must have worked out the copyright thing with these Saturday morning shows. But that's actually what I should have put here. But this is fun. There's Benicio del Toro on the weekend. So we're getting more better looks of the Wolfman now, as he's systematically Ramboing these guys, these old stuffy British guys. They have dug a big pit, is basically what it is, and they keep falling in the pit where he kills them. And then he jumps out of the pit and starts killing the guys that are on the ground. And
that's a good looking Wolfman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got good hair. He's got good teeth.
The way that they bulked out his shoulders,
yeah.
I think if they had not given him the vest, he would have had too much of a feel.
Did he freeze?
Yeah.
I guess I froze for a second. But if they had just left the white shirt, he would have looked too much like Oliver Reed in Curse of the Wolfman.
Yeah.
So I think they had to do the vest to fix his coloring.
Curse of the Werewolf.
Oh, Curse of the Werewolf, right.
But still, he was a wolf man, as we described earlier. Yeah. He was a wolf man. He looks more manly. He looks more man than wolf.
He definitely cursed.
Yeah.
Yep.
And cursed. So, So, again, he's just shredding these guys up. And Hugo Weaving is riding out there on his horse, and one of the worst guys from the pub there is running on his own. And is this the one that falls in the?
Yeah, he falls in the quicksand,
the mire.
Yeah,
the muck and the mire, and the werewolf comes up to him. It looks like he's going to shoot himself to keep the werewolf from killing him, and the werewolf just knocks his head off. Which was nice.
So there's a lot of tropes from 80s and 90s cartoons that I thought would be a much bigger deal. Quicksand is one of them. I've only fallen in quicksand one time. And it used to be in almost any undersea movie cartoon, there was always a giant clam that would grab onto people. I haven't seen a good attack clam in a very long time.
The last one I saw was on Batman. He ate Robin. Giant clam.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Always in cartoons, but sometimes in real life in some bad horror movies. But yeah, giant clams, quicksand. Not enough of those going around these days.
So Benicio del Toro takes out another town member who he hates, and Hugo Weaving shows up to see all the carnage, basically. And he wakes up in a big, huge knotted tree on the Talbot property, and his father comes out and says, there's some people want to see it.
This isn't going to go well.
So yeah, they clobber him and they take him away, and Daddy is not pulling his shotgun anymore. Time for you to go.
The Wolfman has turned into the scapegoat, so Daddy gets away with it.
Yeah. There you go.
And
have your Wolfman.
I like there's this nice little detail when you first see Talbot Hall, you see all the sheep out in the pasture. This shot, you see them, they're all dead. They're just dead sheep just all over the yard.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
That's a Wolfman party right there.
Oh,
exactly.
Man.
He's like took out. Yeah.
Here we meet a doctor, Honiger, played by Anthony Sher. It's not Paul Rubens. Although he looks very Pee Wee Hermanish.
That would have been better.
We're gonna torture you now. So, they basically do their medical thing and are really enjoying it, dunking him in ice water.
Yeah, I was just thinking, if this had been a Tim Burton film, it probably would have been Paul Rubens in that part.
It would have been, for sure.
I'm not ready for a Johnny Depp Wolfman, though. I'm not there.
Johnny Depp Wolfman.
Now I think he could pull off Dracula, but not a Wolfman.
Benicio del Toro. Since we're bringing up actors here and who got picked, there are notorious scenes online of him during the Usual Suspects, when they have the scene where they line them up, all of the suspects, the usual suspects, where he is really farting during that scene, cracking everybody up.
That's why they were laughing.
And I'm not sure if they ever got the right take on that. Like you say, they're laughing in the movie, so they probably just ended up using one of the takes. And again, it's all because of Benicio del Toro.
Yeah.
So he's got a sense of humor. In his room, his padded cell, whatever you want to call it, Daddy shows up and gloats. This is what I've been planning. This is what I hoped for. And, here's your life from now on. So now we understand that Daddy is even worse than we thought. And, we have a fake out scene where I'm sorry. That's not yet. We see the mother's death again, but it's different this time. There's not a razor in her hand. There is a werewolf, which is the father, who is, taking her jugular out, as werewolves do.
And again, that young Anthony Hopkins werewolf looked a little bit like Anthony Hopkins. That was well done.
Yes, the werewolf does look like Anthony Hopkins. You can see it coming through.
Mm-hmm.
With shiny eyes. So the son, he wants to kill his dad now. He's like, you killed my mother. But Anyway, it's showtime. The doctor has invited all kinds of other doctors from around Europe to witness his technique for dealing with lycanthropes, people who think they're werewolves. And during the actual show, if you want to call it that, they do unbind his mouth, and Lawrence Talbot says, you have no idea what you have here. I'm going to kill all of you. And they all laugh. Ha, 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 ha. Oh yes, well, he thinks he's a werewolf. Ha, ha, ha. And then the moon comes out.
And the premise of this scene I love.
Yeah.
And I think if they had handled the transformation differently, this could have strengthened the whole movie.
Mm-hmm. So he is in a straitjacket. There's the hand cramp. Ow! The toes coming through the shoes. It's Incredible Hulk time. And then the hands turn into werewolf hands. Pee-wee turns around, realizes, because they're all going, hey, look behind you. He's changing into an actual werewolf. There's no, he thinks he's a werewolf about it. He's growing hair. He's growing fangs. So they all head for the doors at the same time. Aberline is actually in the actual audience. The werewolf grabs the doctor, throws him out the window, and he lands on a fence. And the werewolf escapes. Aberline goes after him, not believing, oh my gosh, this is an actual werewolf. He's hopping from roof to roof. Aberline's grabbing guns from cops, shooting at him. And we're seeing the werewolf do the kind of the four-legged or the four-appendage gallop a lot in this film, actually.
So you mentioned earlier that the flashbacks were very Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
That shot felt very Batman Bruce Wayne to me.
Oh, really? Yeah.
He's on top of a gargoyle looking out over the city.
There you go. That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to get that Batman kind of thing going for the kids who are not supposed to be in this R-rated film full of blood.
And you know what? Maybe they actually were, because it did hit a couple Batman notes that they set up. Daddy issues, parents are dead at that point. And some of the framing, because if this had been the beginning of a cinematic universe, very easy for the Wolfman to be the catalyst or the good guy who is your superpower, who is fighting your other supernaturals. So that could have been some universe foreshadowing if they were thinking that far. But that could have been in the script or in the art direction, because this movie got messed with a lot before it was put out. The studios did they did a number of reshoots, and they wanted too big of a hand in the editing because they were worried about it. And I think they fudged it a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Good to know. So, the werewolf causes all kinds of mayhem in the city. There's a double-decker bus goes over, just running over people. The police are shooting at him, and it's not having any effect. And he gets away. He wakes up under the bridge the next day, goes to a shop where he knows Gwen is at, goes to see her. He's a mess. She agrees to try to help him. And then Aberline shows up. So he has to duck out the back door. And Aberline, again, is sure that she is helping him, but can't prove it.
So the woodcut in that bottom corner.
Yes.
Okay. That is Peter Stubb, who was a kind of a vagrant who ended up was proven and tried as much as possible, but that's one of the best documented early werewolf cases
Mhm.
because he stole something like 30 babies and ate them.
Lycanthrope, yeah.
Yeah, of lycanthropy, Peter Stubb, um, very famous. It's mentioned in most werewolf lore.
Correct.
Yeah, if you're looking it up.
He that's why I put it there, because I recognized it. He has told her to look up werewolf lore and find out if there's a way that they can fix him, basically cure him of this curse, or kill him. So that's what she's doing. She's checking out werewolf lore. She goes back to Talbot Hall, by train, carriage. He walks. So she beats him there. And they show lots of, shots of him walking across the country, to get to her, walking miles and miles and miles to get back to Talbot Hall. But it looks like he's going to get back to Talbot Hall at night. The police constables decide, hey, we're going to use silver bullets now, just to be on the safe side.
I love that he wasn't persistent. Oh, it's not a werewolf, like to the end. Obviously, he saw it with his own eyes, but the amount of people in this who are like, "Oh yeah, that's a werewolf. That's definitely a werewolf," was good. I think that's a nice village. Not enough, not too many people disbelieving. Someone should yell vampire as soon as you see a person with 2 bite marks on their neck. And in movies, they rarely do. Someone should be yelling, "Hey, vampire! Definitely a vampire bite. Let's take care of this."
Yeah, only Van Helsing sees that.
Yeah.
Again, I'm sorry. Gwen makes a side trip to go see Maleva, and Maleva basically tells her, "Yeah, there's nothing you can do for him. If he's a werewolf, he's doomed." He goes back to Talbot Hall. He finds Singh killed, dead. And the moon's coming out.
So we didn't go into this too much, but the Singh storyline and the feral werewolf child in a far off country.
Yes.
That feels very much like Werewolf of London, the old black. I forget who starred in it now, but
Hull.
yeah, Henry Hall. That's the werewolf who transformed, went, put on his coat and hat, and then left and gently closed the door behind him. But that storyline was he was on a trek in Tibet and was bit by a werewolf there.
Right.
So this has some of
story.
those. This has some of those same notes of it, and I think the Mariposa flower is involved, and there's another bad werewolf. But it's been a long time since I saw the Henry Hall version. But this rung so close to that for me, of where he contracted lycanthropy, how he was bit.
Sir John.
Down to country and region and brought it back. And I really liked that tie-in.
Right. That's how Sir John becomes a werewolf. He's bitten by a wolf child that he finds in a cave. And Sin was there. Like you said. So Benicio del Toro is looking through the house, trying to look for Daddy. He gets a gun, finds a gun. But, no silver bullets in the house, probably.
Well, he didn't get a chance to read. He was in an asylum. He didn't get to look it up himself.
Yeah.
So.
And Daddy's playing the piano and looking creepy.
He looks great there. He looks healthy. He doesn't look frazzled.
So again, the fingers not pointing at him anymore. So. So a fight begins between the son and the father.
Really good. Exciting that this gets good. Like this is
like
edge of my seat part of the movie.
He's not wearing his special glasses, so he's looking out at the moon. And yeah, the sun gets him down to the ground, and he changes as the sun is strangling him on the ground there. He becomes a gray werewolf. He becomes what we've been waiting to see the whole movie, basically. There we go. There we are. And of course, the moon is high in the sky, so Benicio del Toro, Lawrence, starts to change as well. So we have two werewolves squaring off, father and son. and there's your gray werewolf.
These transformations were CG, but they felt better to me than the one. I think it's the firelight. There's some mood happening, and these were nice, faster transformations. You know, these were much smoother.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, they're throwing each other around the room. And again, the fireplace is raging. And the father is a very strong werewolf. Even though he's older, he's a very strong werewolf. He, again, throws his son across the room.
These are just beautiful looking wolfmen.
Yeah.
So now he jumps at the sun. And luckily, Lawrence's Wolfman reacts very quickly, puts his legs up, and he throws his father with his legs. He tosses him across the room into the fireplace, right? Wait a minute. Yes. Yeah. I'm right. So the father goes into the fireplace. Now, werewolves are flammable.
It's all the fur.
I think almost every supernatural entity is flammable. I think fire is the great cleanser.
That's why I like flamethrowers. That's my choice right there. You can definitely kill the Frankenstein monster with a flamethrower, I think.
Unless you're in a small room, or they're not good for home defense. I wouldn't, I'm not going to sell one to everybody, but in the field, someone else's house, go for it.
So yeah, he's in the fire, and he comes out of the fire. It's running around because, again, if you didn't shoot him with a silver bullet, it's going to take longer for him to burn.
They're kind of like zombies. Then you have to fight a zombie that's on fire, which is sometimes harder.
And then the werewolf does his I'm going to knock your head off, knock your block off thing again. So that was setting that up, I guess, earlier for the guy in the quicksand. So he knocks his block off, his dad. And then Gwen comes in. And she's got a gun. But she doesn't use it. She can't. She loves him. And then Aberline comes in. And he tries to shoot him. And Gwen knocks the gun up so that he doesn't shoot him. And the werewolf struggles with him, bites him, and then jumps out the window, out into the woods, or out into the property. Don't trip over those dead sheep. So, he's running out there in the woods, and Gwen goes after him. That's love there. If your man is a wolf man, let him go. So the whole Talbot Hall just goes up like a trailer. And we have this little game of hide and seek where Gwen's hiding around in trees and the werewolf is in the back. And then he jumps on her. I mean, who wouldn't? And she shoots him. She finally gets the gun and she shoots him with the silver bullet, and he dies in her arms. And somebody reminds Aberline, hey, he bit you. It's a full moon. That's our closer. Aberline's like, well, wait a minute. I'm a werewolf? What? So for Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, the remake, they would have brought Hugo Weaving in, I think. I don't know. I
would have watched it.
Yeah.
He would have made a good werewolf, I think.
He's more of a gentleman werewolf. I don't think he's quite rough and tumble enough for me.
Oh, he's not a gentleman. When has Hugo Weaving ever been a gentleman?
Is there a movie where he doesn't wear a suit? Aside from Lord of the Rings, where he's wearing a fancy robe.
Right.
Oh, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
He was wearing a dress in that.
Okay.
You got him. I was going to say when he played the Red Skull, but that's pretty much a suit too. It's just a different cut of suit, just like a Nazi suit. All right. So, a very interesting take on the whole Wolfman thing. Again, a lot of really good special effects. And again, I hate there are movies that have werewolf CGI that I absolutely can't stand. I hate it. It just looks so fake to me. The worst one being American Werewolf in London.
In Paris.
Paris.
Yeah.
Oh my God. In Paris. Terrible CGI werewolves.
Those werewolves went through a human weird potato into a wolfman.
Weird potato human.
They look like potatoes. They were made of potatoes. Sorry.
So but this again, the CGI in this mixed with the practical effects actually was very, very good. It was decent.
It was atmospheric. Some of the shots were beautiful. It did a lot of the things that a werewolf movie needs to do. You know, it even told a really fun story and had an amazing cast. It just missed on a few notes, and I think its pacing suffered. Could have been better.
No. Again, Hollywood took too much control. You don't know werewolves. Hey, who directed this, by the way?
Joe Johnston.
Joe Johnston. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same guy who directed The Rocketeer and a few others.
Correct. Which is one of my favorite movies. I love The Rocketeer. So he probably knew what the hell he was doing.
Up until and then the producers stepped in and the studio stepped in and
then the suits came in.
Yep.
Well, we can't do that. But it's a werewolf movie. Yeah, well, it's one of those things. So thank you so much for joining us again for another werewolf movie. You are the master of all things that are furry. And we appreciate you coming on a regular basis and having fun with us as we talk through these movies. Next week, Dracula's dog, Zoltan, on Thursday. So we'll have fun with that, I'm sure. Character actor Michael Pataki as Dracula. So, and we've got all kinds of good stuff coming up in the very near future. Godzilla raids again in full color. The Thing, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Got a lot of good stuff coming up. So, Men in Black. People complain we don't do a lot of modern movies, and we do. We balance it up, you know. All right. So, folks, keep an eye out for those big monsters. Thank you all again for being here.